Right, well, this was not on my bingo card list for 2025. Ruby Rose has reared her ugly head once again. The individual that played, of course, Batwoman. Batwoman. Good lord, that was a terrible, terrible show. Almost seems like a fever dream now, actually, quite frankly. But she's come back to attack Sydney Sweeney, of all people. Interesting. Interesting. Seems like she's kind of jumping on a bandwagon there to gain some spotlight, I guess. I don't really know what the point behind this is. It's not good. I mean, she basically calls her a cretin. So just insults Sydney Sweeney, which is an odd thing to do. It's an odd thing to do. All this is centered around Christie. The movie Christie. Apparently Ruby Rose was up for that at one point. So she's butthurt, I guess. I'm guessing she's just butthurt. And wanting a bit of limelight. So, yeah, I thought we'd take a look at this. Please do hit subscribe if you're new here. Turn the bell notifications on. But let's take a look. So, God, Batwoman. Oh, that was a terrible show. That was a terrible show. Anyway. So, former Batwoman star Ruby Rose melted down this week about Sydney Sweeney, insinuating that she somehow hates gay people and calling her a cretin. Seems legit. Seems legit. So Hollywood's culture wars are, unfortunately, alive and well. And this latest feud between Ruby Rose and Sydney Sweeney is proof that virtue signalling still pays better than humility. Does it, though? I don't think it does. Yeah, I definitely don't think it does. Like, this kind of attitude is definitely on its way out. People have had enough. So the dust-up over Sweeney's box office flop Christie has sparked more debate about identity politics in film than discussion about the movie itself. So a lot of people were really annoyed that Sydney Sweeney was in that movie, basically. And they think that Sydney Sweeney's politics tanked that film because they say, well, Christie's about a repressed lesbian boxer, effectively. Actually, all in all, it actually looks like a good movie. The trailer's, looks like a pretty decent movie. But point is that loads of people have gone, oh, well, it didn't do very well. So it didn't do very well and bombed because of Sydney Sweeney, actually. It's like, that's not really true. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. It bombed because it didn't have marketing. It's a very independent movie. And because the people that are supposed to support those kind of movies didn't go out and watch it. So, basically, Ruby Rose took to... I think this is Threads, isn't it? Yeah, Threads is an awful social media platform. Don't go to Threads. But anyway, she went over to Threads and said the original Christy Martin script was incredible, life-changing. Also, Ruby Rose has shaved her head, so definitely a sane individual. Definitely not looking for attention. Definitely not mental. I was attached to play Cherry. Everyone had experience with the core material. Most of us were actually gay. That's because apparently to play a gay person in Hollywood, you have to actually be gay, which is mad. That's not acting, but okay. It's part of why I stayed in acting. Losing roles happens all the time. For her PR to talk about it flopping and saying Sydney Sweeney did it for the people, none of the people want to see someone who hates them. She doesn't what? I don't think Sydney Sweeney's ever said anything hateful about homosexuals. Not that I'm aware of. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe someone could quote Sydney Sweeney down in the comments. I've not seen it. I'm not familiar with it. But okay. Parading around, pretending to be us. Yes, again, remember, it's this attitude of one must be gay to play a gay person. Really, really dumb, reductive attitude to have. Yeah. Don't understand it. It's very strange. Very, very, very strange. You don't actually have to be a Viking to play a Viking, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just dumb. You don't actually have to be a scientist to play a scientist. Like, this is what are we doing here, folks? What are we doing? You're a cretin and you ruined the film. Period. Christie deserved better. Ah, brilliant. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Cool. Cool. I mean, I'm not sure. That does sound like your butt hurt, to be honest. Also, you've not done anything in acting since like 2022, I think. You've been out of the limelight for a while. For a while. For a reason. Because you are PR nightmare. You're a toxic disaster waiting to happen. Yeah. Interesting. As this article notes, Sydney Sweeney has never once commented on the LGBT community in any negative way or implied that she hates them. Yeah, I don't really understand. Not really understanding what the... Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing it's because Sydney Sweeney is a Republican registered voter. Maybe? That doesn't mean that she hates everyone, though. It's a bit of a weird one. Sydney Sweeney did actually reply to the box office of Christie, which, I mean, it is a flop. Like, it's a pretty big failure of a film. Like, of course it is. But she said, "We don't always just make art for numbers, we make it for impact. And Christie has been the most impactful project of my life. This film stands for survival, courage and hope. Through our campaigns, we've helped raise awareness for so many affected by domestic violence. If Christie gave even one woman the courage to take a first step towards safety, then we will have succeeded." And that's a pretty lovely response, actually. And it's a well-known thing that actors will always do. Like, it's a known saying in Hollywood, is that they do one for them and two for the studio or for their agents. One for them, two for their agents. One for them, two for their agents. So this isn't a massive stretch that she didn't, it's not all about the money. Yeah, I'm sure this film actually wasn't all about the money for her. I'm sure this was genuinely actually because she thought she wanted to do this just as a movie. That's not a stretch. That's not unheard of in Hollywood. Undoubtedly she would have wanted it to make money, I'm sure, but it's not the be all and end all of the reason why she did the film to begin with. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, can we have less Ruby Rose with, like, no hair? Like, can we not? What have you done to yourself, Ruby? Honestly. Like, people hated you to begin. Like, you're so irritating. Go away. Just go away.